This is the Lakin Chronicles Road to Recovery podcast with addiction specialist Dr. Greg Lakin. Real people, real stories, real addiction, and real recovery journeys. The road to recovery starts now.
Well, great. Hey, I'm pleased that we have a visitor here, but Ray. And Ray's got a great story to tell, and Ray has done well in treatment. But I always appreciate people that come in and actually tell their story so that other people can listen to their experiences and oftentimes relate and know what it's like on the other side, after treatment and being sober, and that it's worth it. And it wasn't easy, I'm sure, but you can tell yourself. So when was it that you first became addicted to opioids?
Well, I don't know when the opioids part really started. I started with my addiction very young, at like 12 years old.
Wow.
I started out as a IV drug user, doing methamphetamines, cocaine, all kinds of drugs when I was little. My brothers, they was all getting high. And
what part of the country was this in?
I lived in Pennsylvania,
Got it, yeah.
Punxsutawney, where the little groundhog is.
Mm-hmm.
So I was up there, and but it just kept growing. I went to prison and back out. I've been in treatment. I think I successfully completed 17 treatments.
Yeah.
I've never been able to stay clean before this one, ever. This is the first time I've ever got any substantial clean time. Is through the MAT program.
Right. Medication-assisted treatment, absolutely. And so, first it was methamphetamines, perhaps, huh?
Yes.
And in IV use.
Yes.
At a very young age, because you were exposed to it through
my brother, my siblings,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then, my cousins and everybody. It was, we're kind of backwoods, and it's just like I was the younger of the crowd, but I thought I was the bigger guy, I guess.
Right, yeah. So you've been through some experiences, I imagine.
A lot of them.
On the hunt for whatever had a hold of you at the time, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. So what are some of the things that you did when you were addicted to different medications that you normally would never do, probably?
Well, I don't know. I was in a band, and we did a lot of drugs in bands when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I'd stay up for days at a time, and I'd do heroin to come down and methamphetamines to keep up, it's just one and another, just back and forth all the time. A lot of just like partying nonstop. Back in my methamphetamine days, we would stay up for sometimes up to almost 30 days at a time, and never even go to sleep. And then we would take opioids, to bring us down, and then we'd go right back up. And it's a vicious cycle.
Not uncommon, yeah. A downer and then an upper, just to,
Yep, over and over.
And so your band traveled around a little bit?
We went, quite a bit. We was around here in Kansas. I lived in Emporia. Mm-hmm. It's a college town, and I got into there. I started getting into a lot of LSD, and that's when more opioids, down there and around the college town. A lot of
that does date you a little bit, the LSD thing.
yeah, it does. It's been a while back, but in the middle of all these bouts, I kept going to prison. I'd use and I'd go to prison, and I would use and go to prison.
So what would you go to prison for? I'm assuming it was drug related.
It was drug related. I had sales of LSD was my original sentence. Mm-hmm. I got a 7 to 28 year sentence for sales of LSD from using and selling. And selling to use. Yeah. Is all it was. And then as I would get out of prison, I would be on parole or whatever, and I couldn't stay clean. Mm-hmm. But generally, to get out of prison, they would make me go to treatment.
Right.
And so I would volunteer to go to treatment to get out of prison. Mm-hmm. I would go to treatment, and I'd successfully complete it so I could get out of prison.
Right.
And then I would use immediately. Usually on the way home, I would get high or whatever.
Because you want to celebrate your new release, your newfound freedoms. Is that fair to say? It's not unusual.
Yes, it is fair to say. Yeah. That's just the way it goes. When you get out of prison, when you go there, you run into a lot of your old friends and stuff from the street. Mm-hmm. They're in there, and so then I'm using in prison, and then I'm trying to get clean to get out of prison, and then I am somewhat clean, but it's never been a desire to stay clean. It was always, I would just get clean to be released and to get out.
And you were looking forward to release so you could use again.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would do.
And so what was it that clicked on in one day where all of a sudden you didn't just get released and use again? Or what was it that helped you?
this place is the only thing that's ever done it. It was a Center for Change. This is the only time in my life that I've been clean this long. I came to Center for Change in November of 2018. I've been clean since then. Had a bad heroin addiction here in Wichita. I was, between me and my fiance, I was buying about $200 worth of heroin a day.
Right.
Every day. I mean, just to mainly be unsick.
So you could take over a gram a day even.
Absolutely, every day.
Yeah.
For me and for her, you know. And it got to the point where I really wasn't getting high anymore. I was just trying to be not sick.
Yeah.
I was so sick. Every day I'd wake up, I'd have me a little dose, you know, to get me going, to go get some more. And it got to the point where I just couldn't do it no more.
Right.
I just could not do it. I was just trying to not be sick. And then I was fighting and I was losing everything I had. You know, I was losing my home, my everything. You know, I got a beautiful woman, a home, and children, and car. I mean, I had everything, and I was just watching it all go, and
Yeah.
it just kept going and going and going. It wasn't going. I was throwing it away. You know, I just kept throwing it away and throwing it away to get more dope, and then
So you had a good job, you know, maybe several, but I mean, you had everything going for you at one time: house, job, children, but still couldn't get off.
No, because I would have to do it to not be sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be. The sickness from heroin is just incredible. I mean, it's just you're so sick you can't do anything but try not to be sick. I mean, that's all it.
Then if you notice the anxiety associated with it is even worse than what, I mean, you truly believe that it's life or death?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because it feels like you can feel the sickness coming on, and the sickness feels like death. It feels like you're dying, or you could die. I mean, it literally feels that horrible, you know. And for me to run around and try and get a fix or try to get, it was worse than that because I wasn't just trying to support myself. I was trying to do it for my girl too, you know. So I was trying to get 2 fixes or split one, so I could keep going to find more and more. Oh man, it's just chaos. It was horrible.
$200 a day plus just to feel normal.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's probably twice that if you want to get a euphoria. I know it sounds like you build up such a tolerance that it wasn't about.
Right. It was. I had a $200 a day habit to not be sick. That wasn't to party or to have fun. That was just to be well. You know, to where I could function, to where I didn't have to hide in the bedroom and from the kids. Where, you know, because I had children in the house, and I don't really want to hang out with the kids while I'm trying not to shit my pants or what. I mean, you're extremely sick, you know. Yeah. So I didn't want them to see me that way, so I'd be hiding in the bedroom, you know, and then they'd be like, "Dad, what's wrong?" You know, and I'm trying to pretty much talk through the door and all that, and it's just, I just got completely disgusted. I mean, I couldn't do it no more. Yeah. You know, I literally, I couldn't do it.
So when did you decide? You made a decision one day, hey, because maybe before the motivation was to get out of prison, or the motivation was to get, you weren't serious. But something clicked in you and you decided to get serious.
Well, when we were in the middle of getting high, my girlfriend, she wasn't doing IV drugs. She would smoke heroin and all that stuff, but no IV drugs. The day that I decided, when all this was going on, we had talked to people that had been to the methadone clinics around, you know, but we didn't really understand what it was or anything. We just heard, you know, the methadone thing or heard it in a song or whatever, you know, but we really didn't know anything.
Is it a song?
Yeah, Kid Rock song, you know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we heard of it, but we didn't really know what it was or how it worked. I actually have a child that goes here to the clinic that I knew had been going here for over 4 years, and I didn't know what it really was about, you know, or how it worked. I had no idea about becoming stable on a dose of methadone and what it would do to the way I think and act and everything. I mean, it just changes everything about my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, I started using so young. I smoked pot from the time I was literally like 8 years old. I smoked pot continuously the whole time. I've even quit smoking pot now since I'm on methadone. I don't know that the methadone has anything to do with me quitting smoking pot, because, you know, I could smoke pot and it wouldn't really affect my program, although it affect a lot of other things as far as UAs and jobs and financial, as far as me being able to afford to buy my methadone and all that stuff. So I just didn't. I just decided that I wasn't going to smoke no more, and it was really actually kind of simple for me to stop now.
Yeah.
And all this time I couldn't stop.
You want to know why that is?
I don't know why.
Oh.
So I want to know why?
Well, I'm just saying, methadone, and maybe you've noticed how your brain's changed back, but methadone doesn't just stop cravings and withdrawals and sickness, but it actually stabilizes your mood. So literally, the overactive part of your fight or flight, the primitive portion of your brain that's activated that causes so much anxiety and so much, right now everything's falling apart, everything's life or death, it actually starts to calm down, and you re-engage frontalogic portion of your brain, and you start feeling back in control and thinking of the future and all that. So other things, like the anxiety, is in part just due to being in constant fight or flight, survival mode, right? I mean, have you noticed your brain literally start to shift?
Oh yeah, definitely. In fact, you treated me for a little bit when I was here with some anxiety problems that I was having. When I first came in, I had a lot of anxiety problems, and I did some medication. I did it for about 6 or 7 months of it, I guess, or something like that. And then, as I started going through the program, I just started feeling a lot better. I'm not sick. I'm not sick every day like I was, which is a big thing. I don't have to go try to find a way not to be sick every day. And that was that's the anxiety before I'd even go to sleep, I was thinking about what I was going to do the next day.
Yeah.
So I'd freak out all night long and couldn't sleep, and then to go and try to do it all over.
Now you dose, and the rest of the day is your own to do with whatever you want.
That's right.
And you've got the certainty or the confidence that it'll be there tomorrow.
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Yes, I don't have to chase it around. I know where it's at. I know
Doctor, I've noticed probably in half the videos we've done so far, or podcasts, that there's one characteristic that's the same with everybody. It's that when they see you, or when they come here, they change. I mean, this is when it's the defining moment, and I'm going to boost your ego a little bit, but Dr. Lakin is just one of a kind. I mean, what I'm hearing is that when you came here, this is the first time you really wanted to quit.
This is the first, yes. I never had the desire to quit as I do now. Like now, I don't want to use. I try to talk other people out of using now.
Right.
Before, I used with them. I would chase it everywhere,
Yeah.
I really do not have that desire to use anymore. Now, I can see what it was doing in my life, where I was going, what I had lost. I didn't have no desire.
Well, and when people come here, they're in that fight or flight all the time, and they want the quick fix, and they're used to a pill. They want it to work right away.
Right.
So you got to show enough patience that you'll let, whether it's methadone or Suboxone or buprenorphine kind of product, you got to give it long enough chance to start to stabilize your mood, and then you got to give your brain a chance to start changing back and getting out of that primitive reactive state. And then now you're back in control. I mean, don't you feel like you're back in control?
I do. I absolutely do. Excuse me. I attended a lot of groups here at Center for Change. I don't have to go to 2 a month in my treatment program. I literally was, when I first started, I was going to at least 3 a week. Most time 5. Most time 5 days a week I was going to group just to come in and listen to other people's stories. That was getting clean because I wanted to be clean real bad. I wanted to see how they was doing it, and a lot of people, I would hear different like war stories in the line, up there of people on it for so long and can't get off it, and how it's worse to get off of than other drugs and whatever, and to be honest, I still have a little bit of fear about coming off of it,
right.
and tapering down and all that, because I've never done that before, right. Now that I've got on it and I've become stable with my dose and everything, I've been at the same dose for, I guess at least 8 or 9 months, at least that. But I feel stable, I don't.
Sure.
And even if I would to miss a day's dose for some reason, I couldn't get here or whatever, I don't think that it would freak me out or nothing.
Right.
I mean, I think I would be okay, for that one day. But I don't want to try it.
Right. And I notice once we get people their anxiety calm down or get their brain kind of shifting back, they're able to titrate down slowly. But we got to make sure we treat the underlying anxiety or any other underlying mood disorder that's going to cause a relapse. So, but I mean, slow and steady is the course. Well, that's wonderful. So you survived being in a rock band. I mean, you're sharp as a tack. I mean, you're great at telling your story. You played what instrument?
I play rhythm guitar and sing.
Got it. Wonderful. And then what are you doing now going forward?
Well, now recently, I generated a lot of health problems from using. I mean, I had hepatitis, serious ones.
Like liver failure, jaundice.
I literally, this all just changed in my life within the last few weeks. I mean, you're probably not even aware of this yet, but I started getting healthier since I got clean. I started going to the doctor more regularly, having some checkups.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of treatments now for liver problems and everything.
Right.
Well, I've had hepatitis for over 20 years, from shooting up, tattooing in prison, everything, just dirty, surreal, just the whole nasty deal of using. It's created a lot of liver problems from me. I had hepatitis B and hepatitis C.
Right.
And they told me with the other treatment for hepatitis C, they couldn't treat me because I had hepatitis B. And they said, and once you had hepatitis B, or if they try to treat you for the C, it could reactivate the hepatitis B and it could kill you. So they wouldn't treat me.
Yeah.
So they literally have brought the preacher in there to tell me that there was nothing they could do for me, that I was going to die.
Because you were in the hospital with liver failure.
Yes, and they told me I was going to die from hepatitis, and the only thing that they could do was replace my liver. And so I was like, well, okay, I didn't really freak out or nothing about it. I just figured, it was going to take about 20 years off my life. I'm 55 years old now, so I'm like, well, I probably don't got a whole long time to go, Well, here recently, as I started going to the doctor, I went in just like within the last month, and they told me that my hepatitis B has resolved itself.
Excellent.
It done this by itself just recently. I mean, it just happened. So now they're willing to treat me for the hepatitis C, and they're saying that they can cure it.
1 pill a day.
Well, yeah, I think they said 3 pills a day.
Oh.
Some new thing that they're doing.
Yeah, okay.
But they said like 3 pills a day, and they're saying that they can cure the hepatitis C. The only reason that they can do this in my life now is because I'm clean from not doing all the other drugs. And the only reason I'm clean is because of being here.
Right.
This is the only reason.
Yeah. No, there's no use treating hepatitis C if you're going to reinfect yourself.
Right.
Or there's no use being on a transplant list if you're going to nuke your new liver. So, no, that's wonderful. Well, great. Excellent. And so the missus and the kids, how are they doing?
Awesome. I mean, my missus, she does treatment also. She has insurance that covers her, so she goes to a different clinic to get her methadone.
Right.
However, she recently started going to school. She got her CNA's license and got a good job. She's working nights. She's not using it anymore. She's been clean. She came here with me when all this started.
Right.
So we both been clean. We got the same clean date. We've been clean the whole time, and she still is. And she's planning on coming back over here real soon because she's going to lose all of her insurance now that she's got a good job and everything.
Yeah.
So she wants to be back over here. She really likes it here. The groups and the counselors and everybody's just.
You've got a good counselor, absolutely. And then your boy. Tell me about your boy.
Which one?
Well, the one that comes here. Is he so?
Oh, that's my daughter. It's a girl. She comes here. I don't really know what to say about her. She struggles a lot,
Yeah.
She's younger and she's in the party stage, still. She don't have the desire so much to stay clean, but if she would focus more on coming here and getting stable on her dose, I believe all that would change. I believe that if she got stabilized on her methadone, then she would want to use, but she struggles so much. She goes out with her friends and then she don't make it here in time, so then she tries to medicate herself with street drugs and whatnot, and it's just...
There's some scary stuff out there now too, isn't there?
It's really bad.
It's not like the heroin of old or anything.
No, it's bad. There's a lot of it out there. And even, when I've only been off it for a little over a year, but even then, the fentanyl and stuff, I mean, it's really bad, and it's a sad thing, kind of when I was chasing the heroin, I wanted it with the fentanyl in it, I wanted that high. That's kind of what I chased, and now it's like, when I think about it, that I'm thinking correctly, I'm like, I don't want any part of it.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, there's
just
so many overdose deaths lately with fentanyl laced. And like you said, if you survive the high, it was awesome.
Yep.
However, there's no guarantee you'll survive the high, and
that's true.
Went to another funeral not too long ago, so.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, good. Any other messages for people out there on, how to succeed? What were your secrets?
I don't know that there's any secret. I mean, you need to come down and listen to the counselors, whatever they tell you to do. It was really easy to get my dose stabilized because they started me out at wherever I was. I don't remember, but they let me go at my pace to go up to where I wasn't sick no more or whatever to get stable. They kept checking all my withdrawal signs and everything to see where I was at until I become stable. It was really easy to do it. I mean, that part really was easy. The hardest thing was to not spend that first $50 to come in to take my assessment or whatever.
Your blood work, yeah.
Yeah, that was literally the hardest part of coming to treatment.
Well, that first day always is.
That was the hardest part. The rest of it has been. I've never missed. I've never relapsed. I've taken all my doses. I don't expect me to miss one now. I just don't.
No reason to think you would. It sounds like you feel like you're back in control. And I noticed early on is the hardest. Nobody can make progress in groups or work on themselves while they're feeling sick. You know. So like you said, you titrate up slowly till there's no cravings, no withdrawals, and you're good for your entire day. And then all of a sudden, you've done it. And you let your brain go ahead and shift.
And sometimes that kind of it makes you stop, and think, wow, I really did this, of using this long, figure of me using since I'm 12 years old, I'm 55.
Yeah.
That's a long time of IV use and drugs and being sick, a lot of different illnesses, with the hepatitis, everything,
And you probably had some major abscesses.
Oh, it was bad.
You got to worry about cardiovascular issues, especially about vegetations and heart valves, kidneys. But I mean, it sounds like you partied like a rock star and survived, huh?
I did. I really did. I don't know how I made it without dying. I mean, God must have some kind of plan for me, through the whole deal. And it's working. I'm clean. I feel good.
Nothing's more powerful than a good success story. So maybe God's plan is to let you help people. Which I appreciate you coming and telling your story because it takes a lot of courage, but the sole reason is to help others through your story. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
You got this. All right. Right here.
Dr. Lakin is a board-certified family medicine doctor with an emphasis in addiction medicine and over 25 years of experience. For addiction recovery services in the Wichita area, please visit www.centerforchangeks.com or visit samhsa.gov for a national directory of resources and recovery centers in your area. You can also find these links in the podcast description. Thank you for listening to the Lakin Chronicles Road to Recovery podcast. And remember, you've got this.